The title of my conversation today with you is my confusion around how we value $1 billion. Usually when I get asked to speak at events like this, it's to divulge some form of wisdom that I've learned over the course of my last 2 entrepreneurial adventures. But today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk to you more about my confusion, my conundrum. Let me take you back a little bit. I'm sure everybody in the room, like myself, is in search of some form of success and happiness in their lives. And to hedge my bets, I decided in that search of happiness and success, I decided to start 2 different organizations in different sectors that would hopefully give me different variants of success and happiness. Both these organizations were in completely different sectors, completely different experiences. And it actually felt a bit like a social experiment, almost a bit like I'm on a game show, and every time that I wanted to get to the next level, I had to pass some emotional or intellectual test. But let me just show you what happened in that organization, in those 2 organizations. So if you're an investor, you look at the first one on the left, great revenue, both got good revenue, they've got fantastic growth rates, both have over $1 billion revenues. Customer numbers are looking fantastic. As an investor, you probably look at those, more or less in parallel, give or take, right? Now, these numbers were reached at different times, but it's to make a point. Now, let me tell you why I have a conundrum and some confusion. Now it's gone to this side, sorry. You can see what that is. Now, what are we doing fundamentally different in the first one that we're not doing in the next one? The company on the left side is a travel company I started, which had a valuation 350. On the right side is a company, a non-profit I started, which has a valuation of 0. You can start to see my conundrum, how we think about value in 2 different organizations and the behavior that solicits. The organization on the right is a non-profit, and every year we tend to get sermons on how we should run our organizations with more efficacy, more transparency, greater impact. But I also feel non-profits like Magic Bus have an opportunity to explain how the non-profits can teach the for-profits how they transfer some of their value from commodity to community. Let me dig a bit deeper into that. Imagine if I was running the company on the left side, ClearTrip, and I told the CEO of that organization that you can only be paid 50% of your salary. And by the way, there's no equity, there's no stock. Imagine if I told you you're going to have to be one of the biggest organizations in your sector, but I'm not going to give you a single dollar for customer acquisition or for marketing. It's a competitive environment out there. You have to innovate. But I'm not going to give you any money for innovation. No cost innovation. Good luck. You can imagine as entrepreneurs just how that might feel. But that is the conversation that the CEOs of organizations like Magic Bus have to have every single year. We don't understand how to value those organizations. If I go one layer deeper at Magic Bus, we have, for the last 3 years, a cumulative number of people that we've placed in work, 300,000 young people. That gives us our revenue of 1.1 billion. That is the value of the direct salaries every year we're generating into the market in Asia. This year we have 1.5 million children in the program, and these children come from some of the world's harshest backgrounds. And our job is to take them on a journey out of poverty. About 80% of our graduates then, after they trained, go on and get work in both grey and white-collar work and takes them out of poverty. In the next 5 years, we're going to have 7 million kids in our program. Our value in direct salaries will be well over $10 billion. But that's just not where the story stops, of course, because those young people will become taxpayers. They'll save money on health, crime, etc., etc. There's huge societal value that we're able to give those young people. And we do all this for $25 per child per year. And very crudely put, we've created an IP that solves poverty in Asia. Now, if I was to use traditional investor wisdom, that has to make us one of the most valuable companies, organizations in the region. But we simply don't have the frameworks to value it. It's no wonder that there are over 2 billion people living on just $2 a day in the world. It's almost as if there was an inverse correlation between the value you bring to the world and the value society gives to that particular organization. 80% of the world's wealth is held by 20% of the world's people. That's not sustainable. We cannot continue like that. The good news is, I'm starting to see shifts. We start to see the emergence of these big societal contracts, ESG, CSR, SDGs, triple bottom lines. So I do see movement, but having been a leader both in the non-profit and the for-profit, I'm now devoting all the time I have left to try and understand how we create better structured organizations that reflect this community value better. But to do that, we have to overcome one fundamental challenge. And that is that we are obsessed with looking at manifestations, consequences, not the actual cause. For centuries, for ages, as organizations, individuals, we spent time and money trying to solve the manifestation. It could be in poverty, it could be in nature, but in poverty, we've been obsessed with creating disconnection, with becoming separated from each other or separated from people who aren't quite like us. And we've built, whatever city you live in, we've built these proverbial and physical walls that reinforce that separateness. But as humans, we're biologically, physically designed to work in groups. Social bonds have ensured our survival for millennia. We're used to working in groups to solve very complex problems. And underlying all these complex problems is our innate desire to be altruistic. But somehow, somewhere, sometime, we've been led to believe that we have to live in a society that is competitive, that it's a fight for survival. It's as if, a fight for survival. But actually, nature doesn't work like that. Nature doesn't work based on competition. Evolution works based on cooperation. So what I'm going to be doing now at the age of 56, and at 56, I have to tell you, I don't know if any of you have read the 4,000 week book, but I know I have about 1,000 weeks left to live. I don't want to live a dissonance with my altruistic and my social nature anymore. I have 3 young children. I want them to grow up in a world, in organizations that reflect this community value so that we can create more healthy, equitable communities. And I've seen it happen in my lifetime. In 1996, I turned up in Bombay in India to get a job. I worked and ran a travel company then. I love rugby. I'm passionate about rugby. And so I decided to join a really elite rugby club. Quite quickly on, I decided that I would invite some of the children that lived on the street around this elite club. I decided to bring them into the club to teach them rugby. And what could have been a divisive act, we don't have common friends, we don't have similar we don't have a similar language, but we were bound by this passion to learn rugby. Soon, some of the players from the elite club came and joined our team. We broke down some of those proverbial fences that we've built up in our society. It changed those 20 boys' life forever. Sorry. It changed those 20 boys' life forever, and of course changed the journey in my life. With that spark, along with these young boys, we used to drive a bus into the low-income communities, the slums of Bombay, and take play to the low-income communities. Soon word got out in the city hundreds of people started lining up to be volunteers, to be part of our community. It was total magic. And that's what we did 25 years ago. We created Magic Bus. And that was 25 years ago, and I know now that society, the organization, is moving along into its next chapter. I'm on a journey now to try and understand how we create something new. Next year, we launch a platform. It's a platform which helps and rewards people to connect directly with each other. We reward both societal and monetarily for this interconnectedness. You have the ability with this platform to go and communicate and connect with your local community, hopefully a low opportunity community, with the things that you love doing. Imagine this, right? You're in Singapore, you're in Bombay, you're in London. Instead of raising money in your local marathon next year, you're able to invite 3 girls from the local HDB to come and train with you, learn with you, and share that experience with you. It's far more enriching, of course, than just handing over a check to someone. It changes your lives, it changes their lives. We have the ability to give money directly, gifting. Its value algorithm will look and value empathy. We're creating a currency of cooperation, an economy which commoditizes community and cooperation and interconnectedness. It's called Social Star, and I believe it's the start of a new story. So it's taken me some time to understand what we perceive as being worthy and what my place is in that. Sorry, that was Social Star. It was what my place is in that, and how I might work towards changing the perception of what society sees as worthy. And I think just by spilling my guts out in front of some brilliant entrepreneurs, I hope, it's where the seeds of action start. It's where momentum and movement start. And I hope in my lifetime, we're able to understand the value of community and how we bring that not just onto our personal balance sheets, but also onto our organizational balance sheets. Thank you very much.